Jasmine Ware.
And I'm Shantae Joseph.
Good morning, Faith Lutheran, and welcome to this week's broadcast. I'm Jasmine Ware with the FLNN, and today we have a handful of stories, from the brand new tennis courts to vintage car shows. First, let's hear from Manny with his report on the brand new tennis courts.
Construction, construction, construction. You've probably been hearing all that noise coming from across the street. Today we figured out exactly what was going on and what's being built at the new lot.
How difficult is practicing off campus?
It's not super difficult. It's only like maybe 8 minutes away, so it's not too far. So it's close to pretty much Faith.
What is being built at the construction zone?
Well, we have 3.5 acres under construction. The majority is 10 tennis courts. We have a men and women's restroom, a family restroom, an athletic storage area, and an office for the coaches to meet before and after tournaments.
When is the tennis courts going to be finished?
End of December, starting January. That's when they're supposed to be done.
When should all the construction be done?
We'll be playing tennis November 15th, 2021.
All right, guys, we finally found out what's being built at the new lot across the street. Tennis players should be expecting their new courts by November 15th. This is Emmanuel Neely. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Manny. It'll sure be nice for the tennis team to have their own courts. The fall season is approaching, and with that, there's football. Will reports on the 2021 season ahead. He also gives us predictions on who's going to win the national championship.
Hello, Faith Lutheran. My name is Will Case with the FLNN. College football is returning back on September 4th, 2021. 3 big matchups to look out for this season are Georgia versus Clemson on September 4th, Alabama versus Texas A&M on October 9th, and Iowa State versus Oklahoma on November 20th. The national title favorites for this season are Alabama at plus 260, Clemson at plus 400, and a tie at third between Georgia and Oklahoma at plus 750. In a shocking upset, Georgia ended up beating Clemson, which has changed the possible odds for national championship winners for this season. Who is your favorite team and why?
Wisconsin Badgers, because my family's from there.
I'd have to say the USC Trojans, of course, because that's where I went to college.
What 4 teams do you think will make the college football playoff?
Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Oklahoma.
This year, I would have to guess it'd be Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Ohio State.
Who do you think will win the 2022 national championship?
Probably Bama.
Out of those 4, I think Alabama has the best chance of winning the national championship.
Those are some opinions on the upcoming college football season. This is Will Case signing off.
Thanks, Will. Who do you think is going to win the college national championship? I personally think Alabama's going to win the whole thing, but I'd be happy if Oregon won it. Next, we have Katie with the weather forecast for this week. Katie?
Good morning, Faith Lutheran. Today, we're going to be looking into the weather for this week. Today, Friday, September 17th, it is sunny and currently 81 degrees outside. There will be a low of 66 and a high of 93. This week, we can expect a high of 93 and a low of 66. But for the most part, the highs will be in the 90s range and the lows will be in the 60s to 70s range. Looks like pretty good weather to me. Back in the studio.
Thanks, Katie. Lastly today, Addie shows us what her experience at a vintage car show was like in Boulder City. Addie?
Hi, I'm Addison Grinder with the FLNN. Modern technology is taking over the world. Remnants of past decades can be hard to find. I'm here at Chili Jilly's in Boulder City. It's the 8th year celebration car show. Let's go see some cool cars. So what do you love about classic cars?
Well, when I was in high school, my first car was a 55 Chevrolet, and I've never looked back. It's a 1955 Chevrolet, and the model is 210, a 210, and it is called a post. That's because there is a post between the driver's window and the rear window on the car versus a Bel Air, which has no post. These are better for racing because there's more stability to twist in the frame. So So this is a car body style choice of guys who are racers or street guys like I was when I was a kid.
Well, this one here is a 1955 Chevrolet Nomad station wagon. Back there, nowadays they probably call this an SUV. But back in the day, this is a station wagon. But it has all modern drivetrain, modern suspension, power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and even cruise control. What I really like about them, it takes me back to my youth. Cars like this we drove when we were teenagers. But probably the most important thing about these classic cars is the people you meet. Nice people like you and all the people at the car show today. We have something in common, and we get to be good, long-lasting friends by just having something in common and chit-chatting about cars.
There were awards given for their prized possessions, but that wasn't their main focus. Christine Graham is the mother of one of the managers at the restaurant and 5 other children. Christine had a stroke on June 30th. Graham is now in the early stages of her rehabilitation and is facing months of physical and speech therapy. All of the proceeds from the car show went to her recovery. As the cars rolled out of the parking lot, I looked around and saw amazing locals who had passions for classic cars and the hearts to give back to their community. Quality never goes out of style. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy classic cars. I'm Madison Minner with the FLNN, signing off.
Thanks, Addie. Those were some cool vintage cars. That's all from this week. From the FLNN, I'm Jasmine Ware. God bless.